Here is a real-world example of Photoshop from the Queens Center Mall. We're going to be replicating this design to promote the Academy of Urban Planning, but first we're going to need to do some extraction. So let's take a look at what our instructions are for today. First step, we're going to need to create a new folder. 2, we're going to download all the high-res photos of yourself. 3, using the Magnetic Lasso, using the addition and subtraction selections, you're going to extract yourself. Next step, you're going to copy and paste this selection into a new file. You're going to then and only then apply curves. Next step, you're going to obtain approval from me. You're going to save this file as a PSD, and then you're going to copy and paste these PSDs into a shared Dropbox folder so everyone in the class can benefit from these selections for future projects. And I'm going to explain that a little bit later on. So let's first demonstrate specifically what I'm looking for. So what you're going to need to do is create selections, simple selections that look just like this, so that if I'm using the move tool, I can simply click, drag this in, and drag this in, and this looks pretty good. So how we're going to go about doing this, especially when it's a little tricky using this white background. Again, we created a new folder. You're going to save all your high-res photos, and here's one of Jaylene, and I have yet to extract this one. I kind of like this photo. She's like, I've got my eye on you. So what we're going to do is use the Magnetic Lasso. I'm going to right-click on the selection, and I'm going to go all the way around, and you're going to notice that where there's a lot of high contrast is easy, right? But it's not always going to be so easy, particularly because she has this white shirt. So I'm going to show you how to fix this up. But using the Magnetic Lasso, you are going to get a pretty nice selection. So I'm just going to go this way, pretend I got her legs. Okay, so there we've got a selection, but we didn't get everything, did we? We need to go and get this interior space, and we need to sort of clean up this area right here. So what I can do is click on the addition selection and click right here, and that looks not bad. And I'm simply clicking to create a selection. Oops. Alright, and I've returned. There we go. So now we're going to do this interior selection. Instead of using the addition, I'm going to use a subtraction. Pretty easy right here. Remember, if you make a mistake, simply press delete. And as I'm going to right here. And because I used the selection, that looks, the subtraction selection, that looks pretty good, I'm going to use the addition, go around, and that looks pretty good. You're going to want to make sure that yours looks optimal. One pretty easy technique to get rid of this area right here is simply using the magic wand tool. Click on the subtraction selection, and with one quick click, it's all gone. So great. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. You're going to notice that I didn't have contiguous selected, so I'm going to press contiguous, which is why all this was selected as well. I'm just Control-Alt-Z. With contiguous now selected. Excellent. That was a great teachable moment. Okay, so now what we're going to do is press Control-C, File New, and press OK. The nice thing about Photoshop is that when you make a selection and then go to File New, it's going to create a space that's going to fit your selection perfectly. So we don't have to do anything with the dimensions. Now once we've got this pasted in and it's looking lovely, all this, however, is not. You're going to want to make sure when you paste it in that you've got all the anatomy included, as in her forearm right there. Once you paste it in, you're going to press Control-M, or go to Image, Adjustments, and then Curves, and you're going to pull up this window. You're going to make the darks a little bit darker and the lights a little bit lighter, so it's going to kind of look like an S-curve. And you'll notice that I'm sort of experimenting, and you want to make sure the colors look pretty vibrant. And I like that. So you can see it took me a little while. And now let's take a look at the difference between the before and after. So here's the after, here's before. It's kind of gray, it's kind of washed out. this looks much better. You're going to want to make sure that your photo resembles this in terms of color. Finally, we're going to click on File, Save As. You're going to save it as first name, last name, and then either 1, 2, or whatever number this selection is. I'm going to save this as Jaylene6 into the folder. I'm going to press Save. So at the end of class, you should have a number of PSDs that you're going to share with me via Dropbox. I'll explain the instructions for that later on. Good luck.